Welcome to the weekend edition of the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. Today's podcast features all the best segments from this week's slate of Undisputed. With in-depth interviews and discussions, we have a lot to talk about heading into next week. Skip, Shannon, let's get to it.
So get this, Jalen Ramsey did not hold back when he was asked by GQ for his opinion of quarterbacks around the NFL. Ramsey said Bills rookie Josh Allen is trash, Big Ben is decent at best, Matt Ryan is overrated, and Joe Flacco sucks. Ramsey was asked which QBs don't suck, and he said Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. And then he added Deshaun Watson and Carson Wentz will be MVP candidates for the next decade. And Dak Prescott, he's, quote, all right. Well, like, he just continued all of that. Every single quarterback. Shannon, what is your reaction other than what I just saw there?
Damn, Jalen, they about to suspend you for another week.
They might want to. I don't think they will, but they might think about it.
Man, hey, it seems to me that the interviewer, like once he asked him a question about the quarterbacks and he got very candid, he just started throwing out names. What about Tannehill? Yeah. What about Lamar Jackson? Yeah. What about this guy? What about that guy? And he's like, oh, he sucks. He trash. He garbage.
Yep.
But this is him, Skip. This isn't a show. This isn't an act. This is who this young man is. And let me see what he say. He say, Deshaun Watson will be the MVP in a couple of years, 100%. There's not even a debate about that. Him and Carson Wentz, for every year starting now until 5-10 years, it's going to be them two. They're that good. Dak Prescott, he all right. They're okay.
Wait, you skipped over a line. What was the first
True.
line? He's good, he said. He's good.
He all right. He all right. He okay. That is what he said about the other two. Yeah, I mean, what a problem. We see, this is the problem that I have. We want our athletes to be open and honest until they're open and honest. And then they say they talk too much.
But that's disrespect. I mean, he is saying someone sucks and is trash is not being honest. That's
What is it?
disrespectful.
Is it true?
I don't think it's true. I don't know.
That's the thing.
It's a lot to say.
You want him to be open and honest, so you got, hey. Now, I know somebody that got elected president of the United States using this very rhetoric. Oh, Jalen Ramsey, you on your way, boy. You on your way.
Wow. Jalen Ramsey, same sense with the president.
Hey, he on his way.
Wow. So, to your takeaway point, your big point, Jalen Ramsey needs to do this. He needs to heap pressure on himself because he's one of those cornerbacks. He wants the more pressure, the merrier, because he wants to have to live up to the checks that he writes that he has to then cash on Sunday after Sunday after Sunday. And yet, there was some between the lines going on here. So let's start with the big rips. Okay, I don't know how you could dismiss Josh Allen as trash when clearly he has not watched Josh Allen. Because I'm pretty sure he didn't watch these games because, first of all, he refers to the game Iowa State, and it was at Iowa. Right. There's a big difference between Iowa State and Iowa. They're two very different places to play. So at Iowa, he was pretty miserable, and I watched that game. And then I watched Oregon at Wyoming. He had a QBR of 7 in that game. He had a QBR of 30 against Iowa, and they were pretty miserable. Now, I don't know enough about Wyoming to tell you how good or bad Wyoming is. I don't think they're very good, so I don't think there's a lot of talent around him. But he didn't look like trash. He just looked overmatched.
Right.
And there's a big difference between trash and overmatched.
Okay.
Because if you're overmatched, man, and you're playing that position, is hard.
Yeah.
You're going to look pretty awful.
You will look at, especially if you go against a superior school, a team.
Yeah.
True.
At Boise State, he looked a little better, but the Boise State was obviously better than they were. He had a QBR of 63, which wasn't bad, but he threw a couple of more picks. So I don't know about hella interceptions, hella turnovers. I'm not sure Jalen knew exactly what he was saying on that one. So that's a reach to me. That's just overstatement for overstatement's sake. That's like Jalen Ramsey is just doing a big magazine interview and he's just going to let it fly.
What about Joe Flacco?
Okay. Flacco sucks. I've never used the word sucks, but he just flat out, what do I call him? I've called him Fluco for, 6 years now? And when he got that contract after that Super Bowl and how he did that, I don't know. Because, listen, he's been as good in the playoffs as you can find.
As any quarterback,
But during the regular season, he is Fluco. So can we go with sucks? I'll give you sucks. Now, Big Ben, this is a shot now. Big Ben, he says, decent at best, that he just slings it up for different people, and that Antonio has made Big Ben. Well, Antonio hasn't been there all through Big Ben's career, and there are other receivers there, and he was pretty good.
He got 2 Super Bowls without Antonio Brown.
He did. He got 2. So I think that's overstated and outrageously over the top. And Matt Ryan overrated. I've said that on this show many times. Does that mean he's a bad quarterback? It does not. But is he overrated? Because he calls him last year, how do you go to complete bust from MVP? Well, I don't think Matt Ryan was a complete bust last year. They made the playoffs.
He loves Aaron, but there's no question he loves Aaron Rodgers. He loves Tom Brady.
Okay,
He thinks Mariota.
Okay. You know what? That's where I say there's method to that madness, because does he not have to play against him twice a year? Mm-hmm. So he says he's a great quarterback for their team. I don't think he is.
For their team.
Yeah.
I don't
mean he fits the system.
They're going to run the ball with Derrick Henry, Deion Lewis,
right. And he's going to run the ball, and he's going to get beat up, and he's not accurate.
Right.
And I think Jalen Ramsey really enjoys playing against Marcus Mariota, because I think he views it as kind of a Sunday off.
Yes.
Because I don't think he's threatened deep by Marcus Mariota and what they have at wide out. So then we get to Deshaun. I get that. But Carson Wentz.
No.
He put Carson Wentz in the Hall of Fame. Has he played against Carson Wentz?
Yeah, played against Dak either.
So he has not played against Carson Wentz, but he put him in the Hall of Fame, and he hasn't played against Dak, and he said he's all right. Right?
All right.
Yeah.
A, capital A-I-G.
Well, that's not how this is spelled. There's an L in there.
He said
he's all right.
No, he was at the barbershop when he gave this.
I don't know.
A-I.
But he did say Dak's good. He's all right. He's okay. So how does he know that? Has he studied tape of Carson Wentz and Dak Prescott?
Sure he has.
I think not.
Skip, here's the thing, though, but you have to look at it. Like when he's breaking down tape of other guys, he's looking at that offense.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
If it crosses over.
Yeah.
It doesn't always cross over. Yeah. But, when he's talking with some insight about a quarterback, it's because he's played against that quarterback, because he knows Big Ben. He's played him twice.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. I find it amusing. Had he said that Dak Prescott going to be great, going to be MVP, I think you might be singing a different tune.
Well, I just put Jalen in the Hall of Fame is all I would do.
Why would you do that, Skip?
I would not.
But
I would not, because I would ask the same question, and he knows
I don't know.
By watching highlights?
I mean, Skip, all Jalen Ramsey did is what we do on a normal basis. We just get paid for it. Jalen Ramsey don't get paid to do this. He get paid to intercept, pass, and tackle people. But that's what we do.
Well, maybe he thinks he'll get paid off the field because this will hype his brand.
What do? We offer harsh and critical critiques of people's play.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Sometimes right and sometimes wrong.
But they already know I'm going to get to them one. Hey, no additives. They say no additives, no preservatives over here. I give you straight Everclear.
You do.
180 proof, golden grain. Headshot, Jen. Headshot.
But when you were playing, would you have been this harsh?
Off the record or on the record?
That's the difference. Yeah.
I mean, I have taken occasional, sometimes, people, they provoke me. I never said anything with you I wasn't provoked. If you provoke me,
there was a
I might
certain
lash
defensive back for the Atlanta Falcons. Do you remember that?
Provoked me.
Yeah.
And, there have been other times that people provoke me. Skip, I'm really a nice guy. I don't really like to get outside of my character. I'm really nice. I really am. I mean, people just have me so confused.
Well, Jen will attest to that.
I mean, I just don't want to get you on my bad side. I feel like this is working out. Okay.
I mean, I'm really a nice guy. People just have me all wrong, Skip. I'm really not like that. I'm totally not. I'm really a good guy. Everyone will vouch for me.
Yep.
Yeah, they'll vouch for me.
Except for me.
Is that your nice guy voice?
Yep. That's his nice white guy voice.
Yeah, that's my Walter Kicklighter.
Yeah, I mean, it's very...
Oh, Jen, how are you?
We're back to that.
Jen loves that voice, actually. That's the
You're
voice,
making stuff
that's the
up,
voice she
Skip.
hears off the field.
Oh, my God. You've taken it too far, Skip Bayless.
Oh, thank you, Jen.
Just a little too far.
Thank you, Jennifer. I'm sorry.
No mercy.
Ezekiel Elliott, who had 58 catches in his brief 2-year career, but it looks like he wants more chances. Zeke told the Dallas Morning News that he's been studying film of Marshall Faulk. He's not only Hall of Famer, but also one of the best receiving backs of all time. Zeke talked about his new responsibilities yesterday. Let's take a listen.
I think it's just an opportunity just to elevate my game, just an opportunity to show that I can do more, and I'm excited. I'm just here to do what the coaches ask me. So, whatever they put on my plate, I'm gonna do the best I can to go out there and execute and do my best. I mean, they're asking me to do a couple different things, but I mean, it's just kind of, developing myself more as a route runner. And I mean, I think in the past I wasn't really asked to run as many complex routes, but now I have a couple more routes to add to my route tree.
Okay, Shannon, can Zeke be that type of running back?
Hall of Famer, absolutely. He could end up in Canton just like Marshall Faulk. Marshall Faulk is the greatest receiving running back to ever play in the NFL. Marshall Faulk once had a stretch where he caught 80-plus balls in 5 consecutive years. He is one of 2 men to catch, to rush for 1,000 yards and receive for 1,000 yards in the very same season. Marshall Faulk never had a season in which he caught less than 44 balls. Zeke has, 50-something now, Skip? So think about that.
What was the offense he was running in?
The funny gun.
Just
wide open.
shoot.
Right.
Okay.
But Skip, the difference is that they put Marshall Faulk out wide and they say run a slant. They put him out wide and say run a comeback, run a dig. Zeke Elliott is not running no dig route. That's not what that's not what he is. The rim route, check downs, run a screen here or there, okay. But that's not what he is. He's not Le'Veon. That's not what he does. Le'Veon, in his first 2 years, Le'Veon has 160 balls in his first 2 years in the NFL. Zeke has 58. Le'Veon's second year, he had 80 balls. David Johnson's second year, he had 80 balls. Come on, Skip. Zeke is it, Skip. You don't have that offensive line and say, you know what, Zeke Elliott, we gonna put you out wide, we gonna throw you some passes. You got that line to turn around, to have Dak Prescott turn around and say, here you go, big fella, eat. That's what you want to see. You want to see him doing this. Skip, he's not Marshall. Marshall is a different animal. And when you got Isaac Bruce, you got Torrey Holt, you got Azahir Hakeem, you got Kurt Warner, who's in the Hall of Fame, one of the most accurate quarterbacks. Think about it. Marshall Faulk in 1999, Offensive Player of the Year, MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year. So 3 straight years, he was Offensive Player of the Year or MVP. That's what he was. But he also had the 2-time MVP throwing him the ball. He had a guy that's on the Hall of Fame ballot right now, Isaac Bruce, over 15,000 yards. He had Torrey Holt, who's an all-pro. Azahir Hakeem, who's one of the better slot receivers at the time. So how are we going to play in all this space and give Zeke an opportunity to get one-on-one? See, when Marshall Faulk was one-on-one with someone other than the number 1 corner, they were throwing him the ball. You put a safety on him if you want to. You put a linebacker on him if you want to. And if it was your second corner, they were going to throw him the ball. Skip, I get it. You want to show it. But they're not going to they might do a smash concept where they put Zeke out wide, he runs 5 yards, stop. They take the guy that's lined up next to Zeke, run him on a 7 route or a corner route. The guy sinks, they throw it to Zeke out wide. But as far as putting Zeke out wide and say, Zeke, go do your work, that's not happening, Skip. You know that, I know that.
I don't know that.
You do know that.
So, in your constant quest to hate on the Dallas Cowboys, you have, again, taken a pretty simple little remark to the absolute, utter extreme. You're saying he wants to go full-on Marshall Faulk. That's not what he's saying. He just wants to add a dose of Marshall Faulk to his repertoire, and it's like adding icing to the best running back cake in the National Football League. If you take the icing away, if you don't put a dab of icing, it's still the best running back cake.
Not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. So I don't
Gurley.
care. I don't care if he catches a ball or not, but I have told you, he doesn't have just good hands. He has really good hands. His hands are at least as good as Le'Veon Bell's. And by the way, Ezekiel Elliott runs 4.4, and Le'Veon, your guy, runs 4.6.
Yeah.
4.6?
And
really?
one guy catches 83, 85 passes.
It's because I guess they don't trust Le'Veon as a running back enough.
man runs for 1300
That's all I can figure out. He's not that guy. You're disqualifying your own argument.
You see what you did?
Well, what did you tell me? You got that line, you got Zeke, just hammer him, right?
Skip.
Hammer Le'Veon.
No.
Hammer him.
No, but they don't have the same offensive line as the Cowboys. All I'm saying is, Skip, look, most running backs have average hands, just slightly above average. I believe Todd Gurley, I believe Le'Veon Bell, I believe David Johnson, their hands are above the average.
You better put Zeke in there because
Here's
it's
the thing.
way above.
How about I do it like this here? Marshall Faulk, had he said, you know what, I don't want to play running back anymore. I want to play wide receiver. He legitimately could have played wide receiver. That's how good he was.
In that offense, I think if you put him conventional and split him out wide, I think he'd be just another guy.
Well, he caught 80-plus balls with Peyton Manning.
Marshall Faulk
Yeah.
did. Yeah, because you're dinking and dunking underneath.
No,
you're clearing out the middle and just letting him run option routes, like Julian Edelman, like Akeem.
So
you got two slots in that offense. You've spread everybody completely out, and you're just letting them run little option routes.
So you believe Zeke Elliott has start
I
quick?
do, absolutely. He runs 4.4. He is an extraordinary stop and start artist.
Julian Edelman didn't run 4.4. Wes Welker didn't run 4.4.
Thank you. Thank you.
I agree. Antonio Brown didn't run 4.4. But what they have is that start-stop quickness, that da-da-da.
Yep.
That's not what Zeke is. Skip.
So, obviously, this year, my Cowboys don't exactly have a proven collection of wide receivers. Am I right? They do not have one proven tight end option to throw to. Not one.
What about your guy, Rico?
So, all of a sudden, I don't know about Rico. He can't block. But he makes one catch a day at camp where they all say, ooh and ah. They say nobody else could make that catch, so we'll see what happens.
You out on Rico's
No, I'm not out. But I'm just saying, there's no proven tight end. There's no single proven wide receiver where I say, I trust that guy.
Right.
Michael Gallup, my rookie.
Oh, you love him?
I do, but he's a rookie. Okay. So do I know what he's going to do when the lights are on for real? I don't know. So if you take Zeke Elliott and you actually add some dig routes, you add some complex routes to his repertoire that you can call on occasionally just to spread people out and get the 8 out of the box. That's what you don't want. You don't want 8 sitting in and just camping in the box the whole game saying, you can't come in here anymore.
That's what I want.
Right?
If you
split him out every once in a while. Put him in the slot.
And the defense coordinator is like, thank you. Because we know you ain't throwing the ball.
He's not. He's saying, uh-oh. Really? You got a 4-4 guy in the slot? Hey,
and do what with him?
You're going to throw it to him. You're going to get him free. You're going to get him in space.
They don't believe that.
I do.
No D coordinator going to believe they're going to throw the ball to Zeke Elliott.
Well, they do, and they will.
Oh, yeah.
You watch.
On the rim route, on the screens, check downs.
All he's ever run are check down routes. That's all he's ever run.
Okay, we'll keep it going.
Except he did run one in Denver. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know if he blew it.
And it's
you remember the one Dez blew?
Yes.
Right? And somehow Zeke has passed him down the field. I don't know what they were doing.
Yeah, he tried to run a clear. But, okay, here's the thing, though, Skip. Good luck with that. Mm-hmm. Good luck with that.
I'll take it. It just makes him harder to defend. You just want to add some icing to the best cake. That's all you're doing. And boy, now it's going to be really good. It's going to be off the charts good. You would have 3 pieces of that cake.
Zeke out wide is like Dwight Howard at the 3-point line. Why the hell am I guarding him out there? Why am I going to guard Zeke? It's the exact same thing.
Dwight Howard can't score 6 points from there.
And Zeke Elliott cannot run no dig route, no slant, no comeback, no over.
You're going to eat these words.
No.
You're going to be so humiliated.
No.
Monday after Monday after Monday.
Big end, little low. No.
Yeah.
No.
There you go, Jen.
Well, I mean, neither of you guys like cake, so I don't even know how we could use that.
He
analogy.
loves cake. Don't underestimate.
Too healthy for both of us.
He's a sneak cake eater.
He like plain things. If you notice, Spurs, Cowboys. That's what he likes.
Chicken, broccoli, rice. That's all I ever eat. Chicken, broccoli, rice. I have it every meal. Chicken, broccoli, rice. And I come in here and go boom, boom, boom. And you say, no mas.
My guy, Aaron Rodgers, smorgasbord.
Yeah, he is. He's all over the map.
All that good stuff just lined up. What you want? Sprinkles, Reese's Pieces, Butterfingers on your ice cream. You just want vanilla. Oh, I take 1 scoop of vanilla. You like anything on it, Mr. Bailey?
Yeah.
No.
See, Shannon Sharp, am I right that I'm told that you post your breakfast every day, like a shot of it? Is that true?
I do.
Okay, but you don't post all the dessert that you eat.
I ain't eat no dessert. Ain't no dessert in the morning. I don't have no dessert at home.
Not in the morning, but at night. Do you post your dessert?
I don't have no dessert at night.
Yes, you do.
Occasionally on the weekend, I might grab some. On the weekend, I might grab some. But not
I got to learn quickly. If we start talking about food, that's time to just wrap it up.
No.
Time to wrap it up. I know you guys are both so healthy.
Somebody's getting called out here. It's okay.
Dallas opens the regular season against Cam Newton and the Panthers. No mercy. Yesterday was the 59th birthday for the great Magic Johnson. Among the people that wished him a happy birthday were 2 of his players. LeBron tweeted, "Happy birthday, legend," and Lonzo replied to a very blurry video that Magic posted and said, "Happy birthday, Magic. I'm going to get you an iPhone." Skip, what was your take on these two different birthday tweets?
I found them fascinating, and I'm going to go between the lines. I found Lonzo's tweet to be surprisingly irreverent, and I found LeBron's tweet to be predictably and utterly reverent toward his new boss, Magic Johnson, who's the old boss now of Lonzo Ball. So Lonzo feels comfortable with his boss, Magic Johnson, to basically joke at him, hey, old man, I'm going to bring you up to 2018 speed by getting you an iPhone.
Right.
Okay, well, that's pretty comfortable with Magic Johnson.
Right.
And I have nothing but the utmost respect for Magic.
Right.
But here comes LeBron James. He's still getting to know Magic because he didn't know him all that well before. Right. And LeBron is still a bit of a newcomer to the franchise. So, to his credit, he pays ultimate homage to Magic in his birthday tweet. He puts legend in all caps. Good for LeBron. I'm good with that. But here we go again with Lonzo Ball publicly displaying or exhibiting a little bit of the LeVar in him that I don't see enough of on the basketball court, right?
Right.
When he goes at it with Kyle Kuzma on Twitter back and forth trash talking, I see brash, I see arrogant, I see outrageous.
Right.
I see a little LeVar.
Right.
And I say, where is that guy on the basketball court? When he raps, and he's put out a rap album, I look at some of the lyrics and I say, this is LeVar special stuff, right? Because I see a song called Livin' Lavish. So much ice up on my wrist, my head is going numb. Well, is that the Lonzo we get in interviews after games?
No.
Do you get any of that from him? Here's from another song called ZO2. Changing the game, and they mad because I'm charging fees. Know the name and see the fame. And then this, I'm looking for comp, as in competition, and I can't find no opponent. Lonzo, how about opening night? Patrick Beverly, he found you. Did he not find Lonzo? And guess what? During practice this coming year, I think Rondo's going to find you every practice. I think you're going to feel like you have a whole lot of competition.
Lance Stevenson. Going to be dead up in.
Right.
You know, the thing is, for me, Skip, these new young guys, everything is a joke to them. Everything is key, everything is funny. And I believe there's a time and a place for everything. And I don't believe in a public forum when you're tweeting Magic Johnson or one of these legendary, and you're in that profession, is that this is the time and the place to be joking.
Remember, this was not a text that he sent to him. This is for public consumption.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to send a text like, hey, old man, I'm gonna get you an iPhone.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. But in a public context, hey, congratulations, happy 59th birthday. The greatest point guard, Magic, whatever. But this is where we are now, Skip. Everything now to these guys is a joke. It's funny. It's key. And I just believe there's a time and a place for everything. I love having fun as much as the next guy. But I think when it comes time, if I'm wishing someone a happy birthday, I'll text them if I want something funny. But for public to see it, it's going to be a serious matter.
Some events are not laughing or joking matters.
No.
Big birthday for Magic Johnson. To me, it's not a joking matter.
No.
You don't need to show the public, hey, we're this close so I can poke and prod him a little bit here.
Right.
Hey, old man, get you an iPhone.
Right.
I don't know. So I'm back to my point that I made all year about Lonzo Ball. I love these little flashes of brash, little flash of arrogance, a little trash talky, a little LeVar. I can't figure out why last year on the court, he would go quiet, he would go passive, he would go disengaged. He would go the opposite of that tweet. Am I right? He would go the opposite of all these rap lyrics. He would go the opposite of all this trash talk with Kyle Kuzma. I need to see a little more you-know-what in his game.
Well,
right?
the dog always barks when the gate's closed.
Okay, well.
Now all of a sudden you open the gate and he on the porch, he ain't got nothing to say.
Yep.
See, when you on these texts or tweeting, doing all this other stuff, but you got to step on the court. Patrick Beverly say, I ain't all about that texting. I ain't all about that tweeting. Okay.
I'll bet Rondo's not about any tweeting either.
Exactly.
I don't even know. Is Rondo on social media? I'm not aware of it, but whatever. Maybe he is.
Like I said, there's a time and a place. I believe if you want to be, funny with Magic, be that in a text message.
Okay.
But in something of this nature.
Hey, Rajon Rondo is old school.
Yeah.
He's all business. He will come locked in, focused, deadly seriously for practice. You want to bet?
And you know what, Skip? Now that I think about it, and LeBron's a millennial too, but the age gap, LeBron's about to be 34, and I think Lonzo's about to be 21. But
there's a generation gap.
There is.
Hey.
But even if Bron knew the guy, I don't think Bron would ever do something like that publicly. Now, he might josh him, you get around one another, and he might say something like that face to face. But as far as in a public forum, I don't think Bron would ever do anything like that.
And that's the age?
Yeah.
That's the age to it?
I think so. It's a different time. I read, Skip. I read and I'm looking and I hear what some of the guys say that play the sport that I play, and I'm like, they allow that in the locker room? They do that in the locker room now? I'm like, oh man, I got out just in time.
Yeah.
Woo!
There's just some lines you just don't cross.
No, I mean, these guys, they be. Well, we're gonna talk about. They're different now, Jen. They're different. I just need to accept that, and I have accepted that. Shannon, you're 50. The way you were brought up, the way you played, and the things, they're different now. Just accept that and try to wrap your mind around it. But there are a lot of things that they go on the locker room now, Skip. It'd have been a real problem for Shea. Yeah.
So I think when Magic saw this tweet from Lonzo, his first reaction was, ha. And then it was like, huh? Wait a second.
Hold on.
Really?
Bruh.
Huh?
Look here, Skip. They're still your boss now. Don't lose sight of that. Hey, I get it.
Boss.
We on a great relationship, but he's still the boss.
Yep. And he is a all caps legend.
Right.
He is that guy.
Right.
He earned that.
No mercy.
Carmelo Anthony is officially a Rocket. Melo is expected to come off the bench in Houston, even though he has been reluctant to that idea in the past. Mike D'Antoni said yesterday that they discussed everything with Melo in their meeting, including the idea of coming off the bench. And D'Antoni said, quote, he's open to it. All he wants to do is win. Shannon, can you see this happening?
Skip, for me, normally when going into a new job or a new location, open to it is one thing, but defining a role is something entirely different. That way, once we get to this point, we don't, well, you said this because this is what, remember, in OKC, they didn't use me the right way. I didn't know my role or my, no. Okay, Melo, here, this is what it is. But when you sit back and you look at it, Skip, you're like, well, hold on. Melo's looking at, hold on. Y'all thinking about starting Gerald Green and PJ Tucker over me? Dude, you know I'm a 10-time All-Star. I got gold medals. I'm an All-NBA player, and you talking about starting one of those two guys in a spot that I could play. So Melo's looking at it from that standpoint. Okay, I get it. But D'Antoni, you need to define what you want Melo to do before he gets there. So therefore, he can't say you sprang something on him that wasn't discussed in the meeting. That way, when you roll the balls out there, everybody will know. So now, if you're saying like what Rondo said, Magic told him, point guard's open. Okay, fine. If D'Antoni, if you telling Melo that okay, the 3 or the 4 position is open, okay, but you need to define. Melo is a guy, Skip. You need to have a definitive role. You need to let him know where he stands.
Yep.
So there'll be no confusion. There'll be no ambiguity on what's transpiring. So with that being said, I know how Melo's thinking. Melo's looking at Gerald Green like, dude, this dude been a journeyman. This dude been on like 18, Skip. PJ Tucker's been on like 5 or 6. They're not better than me. And you want me to come off the bench behind one of those two guys. I don't see.
Sorry. To me, this is worse than like a Saturday Night Live skit. Like if I saw it on Saturday Night Live, I would say, oh, that's just absurd.
Yeah.
But this is too crazy funny to even be true. Mike D'Antoni, coaching the Knicks, flat out quit over Carmelo Anthony. He quit with a month ago because he said, I can't coach him. We clashed too much. There was a big argument about, are you the power forward or small forward?
Right.
No big deal, but it became a little big deal to D'Antoni.
Yes.
And he finally said, I just can't take him anymore. And now he's saying it'll be a much better fit in Houston after what we saw from Melo in Oklahoma City. And I'm going to remind you, before last year started in Oklahoma City, just about a year ago, it was in September, do you remember the classic media session in which Carmelo was asked about either playing the 4 or coming off the bench? Could we see that just to remind everybody of how he reacted to that question?
How do you feel about
starting at the 4 or the concept of starting at the 4 or even coming off the bench? And the second question is...
Who, me?
Oh. I guess that answers that part.
I mean, I don't know where that started, where that came from. Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
I do.
That's
like
it.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to get now. You think he's changed in a year? You think he grew up and said, I'm a bench player?
No.
And he's yelling to Hey P as in Paul George.
George,
that.
right.
I like that.
Okay, so that's how he's going to think about this, to me. And I'm going to remind you, there's a record that he could set this year. It's kind of an out there record, but in available games started from the start of your career, when you're healthy or whatever, you're available to
Right.
start. He has started 1,054 straight games that he was available to start, and that means that you weren't injured or ill before. And that's second only to Patrick Ewing's 1,118. So that means he's 65 games away from a record of sorts. It's not much of a record, but if I know Carmelo, and I know him a little bit, I'm going to say he's aware of that, and that he would be pretty proud of that. It's a little bit of a durability record, even though it doesn't account for injury. But every game you were available, you started. Until now, obviously every game you played your whole life.
Right.
From AAU, high school, through Syracuse.
Correct.
You started.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, to your point, Gerald Green's going to start? Or who's going to start?
Tucker?
I don't know. Really? You're going to accept that? So poor Mike D'Antoni is saying all the right things. He did the USA Today interview with Sam Amick, and he said, different points of people's careers or lives or circumstances, things are different. And there's some truth to that. Like you sort of make peace with where you are and you sort of live and learn and you forgive and forget.
But just 3 months ago,
What?
Skip, he was unwilling to come off the bench in OKC.
That's what I'm saying.
Which means that's why they shipped him to Atlanta, and Atlanta bought him out.
So, again, D'Antoni's saying, look, styles clashed in New York, and he said they traded away everybody and then for Carmelo and then expected us to win a championship.
But Skip, let me ask you a question. How did you think you were going to get Carmelo? So let me get this straight. You were going to get Carmelo Anthony, not give up any pieces, and then go contend. Normally, that's what happens. When you trade for a superstar player, you have to give up pieces. And what they did is you're right. They stripped the New York Knicks of all the good pieces, but you wanted Melo. You knew that.
But when Mike Woodson took over, what happened? I'm not saying they were a contender, but they won 55 games.
Right.
That's pretty good.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
And they were a viable factor in the East. Okay? So then he's trying to do the comparison to it's like USA basketball. And D'Antoni has been an assistant coach on teams that Carmelo played for USA, like Olympic teams or FIBA teams.
Right.
But he's saying that when it's your turn, it's your turn. That's what you have to accept in USA basketball. And Carmelo's won 3 gold medals with Team USA.
So let me ask you a question. Gerald Green and P.J. Tucker, which one of them is Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Anthony Davis? Which one of those are those guys? Because it's easy to take a back seat to one of them.
I would agree. So then he made the Golden State comparison. He said, well, they had all those other guys, and you fit in Durant. I mean, if you're committed to a certain style and everybody's committed to the team, it works itself out.
Skip, Durant is the second best player in the NBA.
He's the first best, but it's okay.
No.
Whatever he is, whatever.
I'm agreeing
He's
with
that
you,
guy.
Skip,
He's that guy.
We're finally on the same team here.
Yeah.
And you about to ruin it.
Okay, I didn't ruin it. I just put it in
No, you didn't.
context. I had to put it in context. But the point is, they all sacrificed because he's that guy.
Yeah,
they all agreed we need that guy to get over the top, right?
Skip, it's a different ball game. Kevin Durant walks in the door. He's the best player on Golden State team. Carmelo Anthony walks in the door. He's not the best player on the team.
No.
So it's easy for everybody else to make those concessions. It's easy to make the concession when LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis are at the 3 and the 4 position.
Yep.
So it's easy for Melo to come off the bench. Melo's looking at me, hold on. You want me to come off the bench, play 20, 25 minutes, and P.J. Tucker and Gerald Green are the starters?
Yep.
Really, Mac D'Antoni?
Yep.
How can you in good conscience even ask me to do that?
Okay, which brings me to this conclusion. I do not think in any way, shape, or form this was Mike D'Antoni's decision. I think it was the GM, Daryl Morey, who is the boss, who is in charge, and he tweeted something about what a long quest this has been to get Carmelo here. And by the way, it's the worst kept secret in all of sports. It went on for like 3 months, and it finally...
Well, this was last year, Skip. They tried to get the deal done last year, so this was over a year in the making.
Yeah. So Daryl Morey said, I want him. D'Antoni, you coach him. You figure it out. You're the coach. That's your job. You play with the chemistry. You experiment. And then you finally say, oh, this will work. I don't think it's going to work because one guy has to sign off on it, and that's Carmelo.
Did you see Mike D'Antoni in New York, Skip? The dude was going through 4 packs of Rolaids a game, having to coach Melo and dealing with Melo and trying to get him to accept this. And then you had Jeremy Lin there. Skip, you remember Jeremy Lin was there doing his thing, and Melo like, I need to come on back. He getting too much love. He trying to steal some of my shine.
Yeah. He also thought he was a flash in Melo's pan.
Right.
Go ahead.
But here's the thing, Mike, Coach D'Antoni, if you believe Melo has changed his thought process from the time that you coached him in New York to where he is now, he has not. The only thing that's changed on Melo is his ability.
Yep.
His mindset hasn't changed. So you're going to ask him to do what? Because in New York, he needed the ball. You gave him the ball. Now he's in Houston. James Harden and Chris Paul will have the ball in their hands 90% of the time between those two. So
another statement from Mike D'Antoni yesterday, we've just got to make sure we don't get too far away from taking threes and layups and foul shots. So to your point, that means no mid-range jumpers, which is what Carmelo does, or no dribble, back down, post-ups.
Yeah.
They don't do that. They don't do it.
But that's what Melo is.
Okay. Well, or what he was. I don't know.
Skip, if I'm a run and shoot, why would I sign a fullback? That's not what we do.
That's a good analogy. That's right. You signed a fullback.
Well, he didn't catch any ball. Catch any balls, you don't throw the ball to the fullback. What Melo does really well is not what the Rockets do really well.
Yep.
So good luck.
Okay, so I'm going to give D'Antoni these 2 points. He has made a very strong point publicly that everybody said you can't make James Harden a pure point guard, and they did pretty well with that this first time around. He led the league in assists. And then everybody said, including me, James Harden can't play with CP3. It'll just be their styles are going to clash because somebody needs the ball in his hands more than the other guy. And those two...
They played really well off each other.
They played really well. And they worked hard in the offseason. They were up here at UCLA, not far from us. Every day of the offseason, not every day, but a lot of days playing pickup games together, just trying to establish, how do we do this? What's our rapport together? And it worked. So I'm going to give D'Antoni those two. But, boy, this is throwing a third wheel in that I just don't...
But here's the thing, though. Those two guys, okay, they don't have the ball in their hands 90% of the time, one or the other. Carmelo Anthony is going to go from having the ball 75, 80% of the time to having it 15, 10, 20% of the time. How does he handle that?
So 2 figured it out because it's 2/5 of the lineup.
Right.
But now there's a 1/3 of the lineup, and there's only 5 on the court and 1 basketball. So
I got them losing 8 to 12 fewer games.
I'm with you on that.
They'll lose 8 to 12 more games than
They're
what
going to
they
come
lost
back
last
to
year.
the pack.
Yeah.
I told you yesterday, it's subtraction by addition. It's the opposite of what usually happens, the opposite of the Des Bryant syndrome. It's subtraction by addition. It's the wrong cog to add at this stage of his career, unless he will just swallow all of his pride and Chris Paul can say, hey, you're one of my best friends and I need you to do this for me, for us.
Well, here's the thing, though, Skip. Look, I got to have some pride. I can't swallow it all because then I won't be me.
I know. It's a problem.
I mean, sometimes, you're like, man, you got low self-esteem. But then the person has no self-esteem. I can't deal with that. I mean, if you're low, I can try to pick you up. But if you ain't got none to begin with. So Melo was like, let me have a little pride, Skip.
That Melo we saw laughing 1 year ago, he's still that guy.
Exactly.
You're going to have to figure it out.
No mercy.
was amazing in the final round of the PGA Championship. Tiger had the lowest score on a Sunday in a major in his career, shooting a 64. He finished in second place at 14 under and even closed it with a birdie and a fist pump on 18. Oh, and by the way, Brooks Koepka actually won the championship with Tiger 2 shots back. Let's take a listen to Tiger after his round yesterday.
I didn't know how many tournaments I'd play this year or if I'd even play. And so each tournament brought about its own challenges. And I didn't know what the number was going to be this year. I didn't know how I was going to play. And so at the beginning of the year, if you just said, yeah, I would have a legit chance to win the last 2 major championships, with what swing? I didn't have a swing at the time. You know, I had no speed. I didn't have a golf swing. I didn't have, my short game wasn't quite there yet. You know, my putting was okay, but, I hadn't played in 2 years. And so it's been a hell of a process this year. But I'm in uncharted territory because no one's ever had a fused spine hitting it like I'm hitting it. So I've had to try and figure this out on my own. And it's been really, really hard. It's a lot harder than people think. And I'm just very pleased at what I've done so far. And now, to be part of the Ryder Cup conversation, going from where I've come from to now in the last year, it's been pretty cool.
Well, Skip, from what you saw yesterday, will Tiger win another major?
Allow me to remind everyone, it has been 10 years and 2 months since Tiger Woods won his last major championship. And since then, he has had not 1, 2, 3, he's had 4 back surgeries, including spinal fusion that we just heard him refer to, and that was only a year and 4 months ago. He is now 42 years of age. So I have repeatedly said, sitting right here in this chair on Undisputed, I cannot ever see Tiger Woods winning another major championship. But after what I saw yesterday, I take that back. I stand corrected. I was wrong. After what I saw yesterday, which was nothing short of near miraculous, I do believe Tiger Woods will win another major championship. In fact, I believe he can win a couple of more major championships. He's at 14, Jack Nicklaus 18, so he could get to 16 to the 18. I can't see him passing Jack, but I could see him winning 2 more over the next 4 or 5 years, because I saw something on full display yesterday I have not seen for 10 years and 2 months. And that was Tiger's killer will. That's what made him most invincible during his run, which was the greatest run any golfer has ever had and may ever have in the history of golf. But yesterday, he once again drove the ball shockingly poorly. He missed 9 of 14 fairways on a course with rough that was U.S. Open high and sticky and impossible to extricate your golf ball from. 9 of 14 fairways you missed, and you still shot your best final round score of any of your 80 major championships. You shot 64. You made 2 bogeys and you shot 64. You left a birdie putt on the lip and you lipped out a par putt and you still shot 64. It was just will. He just willed himself back into contention. 3 times he was within 1 shot of Brooks Koepka and the lead, just on sheer will. Willing iron shots that knocked down the pin, willing escape shots, recovery shots that I just said, that's it, he's done. No, he's not done. He's back in business. Willing home putts, willing home approach shots. I've never seen such a display from Tiger, even in his great days, because he put himself in jail again and again and again and got out of jail again and again and again. Now, we saw him contend at the British Open. You and I talked about it. He got all the way to 10 on Sunday. He took the lead, and right on schedule, he folded, because we've seen this happen again and again. He teases us and he tumbles because he doesn't trust himself, or at least he didn't, under big stage major championship pressure. But yesterday, every time I thought he was going to fold, he willed home another putt. And yesterday, he did something. His 4-round score, 266, was the best he's ever shot in a major championship. His 130 over the last 2 days, which is 66 and 64, that broke the PGA record for Saturday and Sunday score. He didn't lose yesterday. He just got beaten by what's right now the physically and mentally toughest competitor on this planet in the sport of golf. And that's Brooks Koepka, who went NFL on the PGA just the way he went NFL on the U.S. Open the last 2 years. He just flat out overpowered it. He looks like a linebacker. He's got quarterback's touch. That's hard to beat. That's hard for Tiger to contend with because Tiger doesn't hit it nearly as far anymore as Brooks Koepka. Even when Tiger went to his irons off the tee, they weren't always straight. He's got to fix his driver, and this has been plaguing him now for about a dozen years straight. But I still believe with that will that I saw on display yesterday, that was the old Tiger. He finally flashed. He finally came back to life. That's the guy who's going to win a couple of more majors because I don't think Brooks Koepka can win them all from here on.
I disagree with you, Skip. I'm not convinced that he can win. For the very reason that you said you think he can is that, yeah, he putted the ball exceptional. He chipped the ball exceptional. But what has let him down over the past decade, Skip? That driver. When he needed it, you said on the British Open, had the lead on the back nine. And what did he do? Ping! What did he get up and do?
At least at the British Open, you can hit your irons more because they'll run forever, but go ahead.
But I look at hitting an iron off the tee as a drive. You just didn't use the big, and that's what's let him down.
You're conceding to the field.
Right.
You're conceding a lot of length. Yep.
And then what happened on what did he do on 17? When he needed to make it happen, what happened, Skip?
Big four right. As Hank Haney, who wrote the book about Tiger Woods, called it, The Big Miss. That was the title of that book, and that was the title of that round yesterday. That was a big miss.
And we talked about it, Skip. I said, he's going to have to give himself a chance on opening day. If you look at him and you look at Brooks Koepka, Koepka's at 1 under, Tiger's at even par. Okay, so that's a one-stroke lead. He goes 63. Tiger goes 64. So he starts out with a one-shot lead, and he gets the one stroke, so that's the difference in the tournament, too.
You could argue that, although if you look at the first nine holes that those two players played, Brooks Koepka trailed Tiger Woods by 4 shots after their first 9 holes, each of theirs. But he bounced back strong with birdies on the back, and Tiger went bogey, double bogey on, I think it was 11 and 12 on his back 9, and there was the difference.
And then you look at Saturday, Skip. He has 12, 14-foot putt for eagle? Not only does he not get the eagle, he doesn't get the birdie. Skip, he
hadn't made anything all day, so he charged it 4 feet past, lipped it out, power lipped it.
Thank you. The old Tiger, and you mentioned that killer wheel. The thing is now, guys don't fear that anymore, Skip.
I'm not sure about that.
Did you see?
I'm not sure about that. I'm convinced now that Adam Scott and Justin Thomas, some of those guys, everybody except Koepka, fears Tiger Woods still because, listen, he took over the golf course yesterday. It sounded like a St. Louis Cardinals baseball home game. It was craziness.
It was.
And I think it fueled Koepka because in his group, the last group, the gallery is meager because everybody's up following Tiger.
But he hears it.
You hear the roars. Whoosh,
he knows what's going on.
Whoosh,
yes.
Whoosh. Just huge roars. And every time they post a score on Koepka's scoreboard in his group, people in that gallery go crazy. So it was a big Tiger, quote unquote, home game, but Koepka doesn't seem afraid, even though he's a fan. He grew up a huge Tiger fan, huge Adam Scott fan, but he doesn't seem afraid of anybody. He seems emotionless.
I think the guys that were not on tour when Tiger was in his prime, they didn't get an opportunity to feel the full effect of what it's like to be on a course when Tiger's at his best.
Justin Thomas, who's really good right now, he said yesterday was the first time he'd experienced the Tiger roars where you heard them and they were different.
Right.
They were so loud, they detonated across the whole golf course, and it shook everybody up. I thought Justin had a shot, and he just didn't fire. He just didn't.
But you look at Koepka. He gets to 17. He goes 338 right down the middle of the fairway. That's the difference, Skip. That used to be Tiger Woods. When he
is Tiger of old.
When he needed a big shot, when he needed a big drive, that's what Tiger could do. He could go 320 right in the middle of the green, game, set, match. And people are like, well, Tiger never shot 64. Skip, normally what happens when Tiger wins his majors, Tiger has the lead. So when you have the lead, you don't need to take these unnecessary risks in order to get you a 64, to get you a 63. He plays the course. Hey, if I have to par all the way through, boom, I win. I'm going to let you make the mistakes. Okay, Brooks Koepka, you do you, Tiger. I'm going to be back here. I'm going to do my thing. I'm not going to get all caught up in the Tiger. Whoa. It says like the Kentucky Derby, you stand on and when that roar goes and the horses make that final turn, Skip, so you can actually feel the roar of the crowd.
Been there many times.
I'm sure that's what it was like yesterday because they had never hadn't seen Tiger like this in a very long time. Coming home, he's charging. Guys like, man, whatever. Tiger, we're not worried about you. Skip, I'm not convinced that he can hit that driver consistently enough over 4 days. And that's the difference. Can he go low occasionally? Sure. But does he leap? He left himself too much damage. Because remember, Skip, he went even par. He went 4 under the next day. He was already 6 strokes back. So by the time he head to the weekend, he's 6 back. He has to go low in order to have a chance. And then in order for him to go low and have a chance, he has to pray they come back to him.
Just remember what Brooks Koepka did. With the pressure on and Tiger on the prowl, what did he do? He goes birdie, birdie on 15 and especially on 16. It's a long par 3. It's 248 yards. I'd have to hit my driver on that and probably still not have a chance.
Most people hitting driver or 3 would.
Yeah. And he hits 4-iron to 7 feet and makes it, and it's just game over. It's too good. It's a bogey hole. It's a hole you could really get in quick trouble, especially under pressure. And he just said, no, watch this. It's one of the great pressure shots you will ever see because he's got Adam Scott breathing down his neck in his same final twosome, right?
Yes.
And Adam Scott did wind up on 17 with about an 11-foot putt for a birdie that could have made it at least interesting going to 18. It had been a shot back. But Brooks Koepka is just too good right now. And remember, Brooks Koepka missed the Masters this past year, because he had a wrist injury that he thought was maybe going to be career-threatening to him. He missed 4 months of sitting on the couch, and he talked about, it's almost like one guy's got spinal fusion, but the other guy's got a wrist injury. And as you know, trying to swing a golf club, if your wrist is completely wrong, if you can't get it right, you're just done.
Right.
And he wasn't sure he was ever going to be right, and then he bounced back to do that. And remember, Brooks Koepka has been really good in the Masters. He's played it the previous 3 years, and he went 33rd, 21st, and 11th. So he's just, you know what's
trending in the right direction.
He's trending, and Tiger's trending in the right direction. And now we have to wait all the way to next April to see the showdown, because this could be a showdown between these two. But I'm with you on the driver point. My only point about Tiger is, since he burst onto the scene because of his drive.
Yes.
He was the longest.
We've never seen anything like it.
He's hitting it off the planet. They're having to Tigerize golf courses, including Augusta National.
Yes.
We got to move the tees back, which is probably not the smartest thing to do because it just actually increased his advantage.
Right.
The farther you move the tees back, you ought to actually move them forward so that it makes it harder to hit the
driver off.
Right? But anyway, they went the other way. Tiger-proof going backwards. And yet he started to get wayward with the driver, and it didn't matter. I remind you at Torrey Pines when he won his last major in the U.S. Open on a quote-unquote broken leg. He had a stress fracture in his thigh and in his
shin, right?
Shin, yeah, in his shin bone, I believe it was. But the point was, he's hitting his driver all over the lot in San Diego at Torrey Pines. The rough wasn't nearly as high as this rough was, but he can get away with it because of his escape artistry, and I saw it on full display yesterday. It's just will. He just wills golf balls out of trouble into contention.
Well, the thing is now, Skip, whereas before when Tiger was in his prime and say like the first 10, 12, 11 years of his career, he was one or two golfers that could overpower the golf course. They got 10, 12 guys now that can overpower the golf course.
Yeah.
You got DJ who played terrible. DJ can go 375. Koepka. You got all these guys. Justin Thomas not as long, but they'll.
Yes, he is.
But
he is. Trust me.
But
For
they
his
hit
size,
it.
whew.
You know what, Skip? They hit it straight. And Tiger might have to concede. You know what? Instead of trying to go 315, let me go 290 and keep it in the fairway. You going 300 and putting it in the rough. What good is that?
Yeah, I know. You know, this drives me crazy about Tiger with his driver because he has such high golf IQ. I saw Paul Azinger, our golf analyst, at a Fox event about 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And we sat down and talked. And I said, why can't Tiger hit his driver? And he said, I don't know, it's the most baffling phenomenon in the history of golf that a guy this good with every other club in his bag can't hit his driver straight, because he missed yesterday way left, as we saw on 9, when he escaped with a 9-iron out. He got a break on 9 because it was over on sort of the beaten down path. And then to your point, on 17, he hits a big balloon because he's so late to the ball. It's a big balloon to the right. So he can miss way left or way right.
Is he overcompensating?
It's just, it's not that hard to hit a driver straight if you're as good as Tiger Woods. But for some reason, I think he's got a mental block. And remember, he had to overcome a chips yip mental block. Remember when he couldn't chip the ball? He'd be, 5 yards off the green and chip it 10 yards over the green?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. But you got all these guys now that can overpower the golf ball. Jordan Spieth, Skip, he wins. Hell, he can't outdrive me.
No.
And
I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, he can't outdrive my man. I don't know where mine's going to go. I mean, he knows exactly where his is going to go. But
I would like to set up a long dry contest between you and Jordan Spieth, because my money would be on Spieth.
Yeah, you bet against your boy.
Just on technique. The technique would be the killer.
I'm telling you, Skip. I'm real, these abs, I mean, I just blow them out, Skip, because they're real tight right now, so that they ain't going to cause me. But, I might eat a couple of donuts or something, let my abs get lax, and then 305.
Really?
Yeah, 305.
Now, your brother, I would give a shot.
Oh, no, my brother, I drive Jordan Spieth.
No, I know he would.
He would. But that's what concerns me, Skip. I can tell you this, I think he feels better about this tournament than any tournament that he's played, even the ones that he's won in, say, the last 3 years, because this gave him hope to go 66, 64, and he's never done that before, even in his absolute prime, Skip. That's like, you know what? Hey, I can really do something. But, Skip, he got to go back in that. He got to work on that driver. You got to give yourself a chance. The thing is, from coming behind, when you come from behind and you're making everything, you got to hope the other guys falter. You look at New England, Skip, when they came from 25 points down, yeah, they scored points, but it also took Atlanta to do some things that helped New England along the way. Well, he's not getting any help because Koepka was like, I'm not helping you. And the next thing you know, he goes 66. Koepka could have easily gone par. He could have easily gone 60. Skip, he went 66. So it wasn't like, Tiger went 64 and Koepka held on. He went 66.
But it took 15 and 16 birdies to get down to 66.
But when have you ever seen someone do what he did when the crowd is in an uproar, when it was in a frenzy? Skip, this is the World Series. I'm sure it felt like the Cardinals playing the World Series, how ruckus the crowd was. They're roaring and shuffling around and the cameras, everybody's, man, you see Tiger, they flip the board and he looks up there like, whoa, that's Tiger. You're like, and guess what? Trophy coming home with me. All the other guys would have folded. Let that have been Sergio 10 years ago, Skip. Let that have been any of the guys 10 years ago. Hey, it's over.
Let it have been anybody now except for this guy. This guy's got cold-blooded assassin in him. He's got emotionless. He's got killer will of his own. It's different than Tiger's because it's not emotion-driven. It's just methodical. It's almost like Hitman, like he just knows exactly what he needs to do to hit you.
Yeah.
And he hits you when you don't even see it coming. But Tiger Woods has some intangible in him that we have rarely seen in sports before, in any sport. And that's the intangible with which he dominated golf for that sort of 4-year stretch there from like 99 to 2002-ish, right in there. It was unbelievable because he owned golf psychologically. And I saw that come back out yesterday. He's just going to have to deal with Brooks Koepka. But and I know, golf is weird. There are tournaments where you just don't play well. The course doesn't fit your eye. True. I'm going to give Tiger a shot because I didn't think he'd have a shot at Belle Reve. It didn't seem to set up right for him. He should have won yesterday. It will be underrated just how clutch Brooks Koepka was on 15 and 16 to hold off Tiger Woods, because a lot of guys, I don't think Justin Thomas would have held him off in the same situation. I don't think Dustin Johnson would have held him off in the same situation. It took this guy who his girlfriend runs up to him at the end when he wins, and he's just kind of like, hi. Then his mom was there, and he didn't even know his mom had come, and he was like, hi.
Yeah.
He was focused.
Yep.
Yeah, he's
I did this. Yep.
So.
Not surprised.
Okay, Skip. Well, now we get what, the FedEx Cup. We get the Ryder Cup. Hopefully he makes that, and then we get the big show.
He's golden in the Ryder Cup.
Then we get the match play between him and Phil for $10 million.
That's a joke to me.
What you mean that's a joke?
Yeah.
Who you got?
Well, I got Tiger.
Oh.
Phil has always played well against him, but Phil doesn't look good to me now. Phil's let himself go way out of shape.
Hey,
he missed the cut.
It's just something about Phil be making up his money on Monday through Wednesdays, playing everybody else, taking their money.
Well, maybe if it's just gambler versus gambler, maybe you give Phil a shot.
Well, it's different.
Tiger.
You know what it would be different if each guy had to put up his own $10 million.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Well, this is sponsors' money. So it's just like a tournament, Skip. This is tournament golf to them because, yeah, I want to win, but it's not my $10 million. You got to put a man to the test with his own money to get the true test to see what's really going
I agree.
on.
So bottom line to this, I'm still amazed by the Tiger effect. I'm a golf nut, and I've always watched with or without Tiger. But he has once again put golf back on the national sports map in a way that it was not without Tiger. It just was not.
You watch golf, but you're not planning your day around Brooks Koepka.
No.
You're not planning your day around Jordan Spieth or Justin Thomas or Rory McIlroy. This guy...
Okay, I will, but most people won't.
The hardened golfer
They
will.
not.
But Tiger Woods will make you, if you got something planned, hey, I'm going to be a little late today.
Yep. I think a lot of people were a little late.
That's what that guy will do.
He will do it.
And it's better for the game to have him back
Yeah.
because that was the most excited I've ever been watching some golf.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Join us again at 9:30 a.m. Eastern on Monday for another week of Undisputed. We'll see you then.